We're going to watch a video of a short tour of the Dragon space capsule by the two astronauts. Actually, we're all going to see one of the astronauts that was recently launched from Cape Canaveral. That's in Florida, in the United States. And these are American astronauts flying on American made rockets and being launched from America. And that is so cool. What's so cool about that? For the last almost 10 years, we've had to kind of hitch rides with the Russians saying, can we please go up on your spacecraft to our space station? And we don't have to do that anymore. So they were happy to do that. They were happy to charge us 50 or $80 million a pop. But now we can get our own guys up there, and we'll be bringing astronauts from other countries. Anyway, so you've been learning about gravity. And so you know that, hey, it isn't just the Earth that pulls down on you. In fact, you pull up on the earth and you pull up on the chair you're sitting on or the bed you're lying down on or whatever, that all objects attract each other with this force we call gravity. And it's pretty amazing. Now, if it's just you and a dog, you're not going to notice it because compared to the other forces around you, gravity will be super, 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 super tiny. But if I were to take that dog and put you in space, the dog being in a little doggy spacesuit and you being in a normal human spacesuit, and I were to put you a few meters apart and we had a lot of patience, you would notice that the dog is getting closer and closer to you. And you might be going, well, is there a breeze in here? No, there's no air in space. What's happening is that you're both pulling in on each other with this very weak but very real gravity force. Okay, and so you've also learned in the last gizmo that there's three things that go into, okay, how much gravity is there going to be? Well, depends on what's the mass of the object A, we might call it, what's the mass of object B, the other object, and how far apart are you? And there's this equation for it, which we don't really have time to get into too much, but there is gravity between all things. All right, so now we're going to listen to this a portion of this little tour, and I believe the astronaut's name is Ben. I think it's Ben. And Ben's going to talk a little bit about the space capsule and what it's like being in space. And he's going to kind of drive me crazy at some point, but I'll tell you when that is. And that's going to lead us into our next question I want you guys to think about as we move through this unit. Okay, Ben, take it away.
One side, we each have a window that we can view out and see what's going on outside. That was exciting on ascent for us to be able to see the arm rotate away from the pad, and that's when we both, I think, knew that we were going to launch today. So that was super cool. I've got one on my side as well. The hatch that we came in is the hatch that's right behind me. It is a little bit of a tight quarters, but I'm going to try to demonstrate some of the capability that we have now that we're in zero gravity. So
wait, did you hear that? He just said, now that we're in zero gravity. Okay, if I just told you that I have $0, how much money do you think I have? That's correct. No money. If you say I have zero soda in my cup, how much soda do you have in your cup? You have no soda. So what did he just say? He said, I have I forgot what he said, but there's something like there's zero gravity. So what do most people think? Rationally, they think, oh, no gravity. And we're going to watch him do something, and I want to talk about, let's watch him do it, and then we're going to talk a little bit more.
I think I was requested to do a backflip. I'm going to kind of do a side spin, which is a little bit of a permutation on that request. So hopefully you can see what it's like to actually float in zero gravity. And Doug and I are super excited that we got the opportunity to do this again today.
Okay, so there we go. He said it again, zero gravity. And what do you see? The guy looks like he's floating around in this capsule. He says he's floating around. He's doing somersault twisty things. He said, well, why don't we do that on Earth? Why don't we just do that in your room you're in right now? He said, well, because gravity is going to pull me down to the floor. If I jump off of a table, I'm not going to stay up in the air. I'm going to smack into the ground. All right, so that's the next thing we want to explore. What happens to gravity when you go up a couple hundred miles? These guys are not in deep, deep space. They are about, I don't know, 250, 300. I can never can never remember. Plus, it always changes a little bit. But I think the altitude of the space station is about 300 miles above the Earth's surface. So is there gravity or not? Okay, that's our start of our next gizmo is, okay, how does it work? Is there gravity where these guys are 300 miles above the Earth, or is there no gravity? Do the gizmo, then we'll talk about it. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.